Hello and welcome again to another Outdoor Scientist. You can see the sun's out today. I'm going to talk to you about fossils. So I live in an area of France which I know millions of years ago would have been underwater. How do I know this? Well, I've got lots of stonework in the buildings behind me here, and as we go through renovating some of our buildings and digging in the garden, we've been finding things like this. It's an old ammonite fossil. So ammonites lived underwater, shallow warm seas, anything from 250 million years ago up to 66 million years ago. They were wiped out when the dinosaurs became extinct, probably in the same extinction event, which we think was a massive meteorite that collided with the Earth somewhere off the coast of Mexico. So we found lots of fossils digging around in our back garden. So we've got the ammonite here. We have another ammonite fossil found close by. It's actually in pieces. So it's quite a spectacular fossil. Now this one, it actually has quite a bit of detail to it. So ammonites don't exist today. Like I say, they died out 66 million years ago. But we do have a close living relative still on the Earth. It's called the nautilus. And we know it likes to live in shallow seas and oceans. We also know that the creature lives in the front section of its shell. Now the ammonite itself, the fossils, they do build up in sections. So we can see the ammonite is a similar creature to the nautilus. And inside the ammonite, we can see this fossil. We've got crystallization rather than just pure mineralization happening inside the sections of the shell itself. Okay, so the ammonite, an ancient sea creature that could grow from very, very small to really quite massive. Relatively quickly, we think. We're not entirely sure because obviously no one was around back then. So ammonite fossils have been found all over the garden here and all over the area. We're in southwest France. Another fossil to show you then. We've got this. It's a Megladon tooth. So a Megladon was a supermassive shark. And we know that the fossil records show us that around 3.5 million years ago you might have had Megladons around here. Okay, so we've got lots of these fossils, not just animal fossils, not just sea life fossils, but we do have plant fossils as well. We can use it to age the rocks. We can tell when the rocks were formed by what fossils we find in those rocks. Was the area still underwater at the time, or was it now above water? So a lot of the plant fossils are land-based plants. So we know at that point in time, the area was therefore above ground. The surface of the Earth had moved sufficiently, the sea level was low enough for it to now be above ground. So I'll go into a little bit about how fossils are formed as well. So fossils are the remains of dead animals and plants from millions of years ago. And they are not actual remains, they are mineralized. So there's no longer any shell here, there's no longer any bones or any of that material. It's all mineralized, which means turned to rock. So the hard material of an animal, its teeth, shells, bones, don't decay when they're buried over a long period of time. So something like my snail shell here. If it was a marine creature living thousands of years ago and it died, fell to the bottom of the seabed, my glass bowl represents the ocean and the seabed at the bottom of the soil here. Eventually, many, many layers of sediment, rock, sand build up on top of it. Compaction will eventually turn this to rock. And all of the minerals in that shell, or the teeth or the bones of the animal, also mineralise and turn to rock. And after thousands of years, eventually someone will dig it up, or the layers will erode, and what you're left with is the imprint of an ancient tooth or an ancient sea creature. So that's the most common. Okay, so why don't you look around and see if you can find some fossils around where you live? You'll be surprised what you might see. If you're living in the UK and you can get to the south coast, the Jurassic coastline along the south coast of England, lots of lovely fossils to be found. Shark's teeth are very common as well. Not necessarily Megladons, but you might find some small fossilised shark's teeth washed up on the coast. So go out, go and explore, see what you can find. If you like my video, or if you found some cool fossils, State it in the comments box, like and share, subscribe to my channel if you want to find more about science in the outdoor world. Thank you, see you next time.